Alrighty guys, we're back for some Icy Tempo, and this is a Lost Caverns of Ixalan standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. Our build-around card, Hylda of the Icy Crown. We got 3 of them in here. It's a 4 mana, 3/4 legendary creature. Whenever you tap an untapped creature an opponent controls, you may pay 1 mana. When you do, you get to choose one. So you can either create a 4/4 white and blue elemental creature token, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, or scry 2, then draw a card. Really sick build around. We got so many cards in here that's going to work really well with Hylda of the Icy Crown. One of them, of course, being Teferi, who slows the sunset. It's a 4 mana, 4 loyalty, legendary planeswalker. Got this +1 where you get to choose up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, and up to 1 target land. You untap the chosen permanents you control, then tap the chosen permanents you don't control. Little cherry on top, you get to gain 2 life as well. Kind of a ridiculous +1 ability, isn't it, guys? Also got this -2. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Also got this -7. I don't know how often you activate it, but I suppose it is very possible. You get an emblem with untap all permanents you control during each opponent's untap step, and you draw a card during each opponent's draw step. Pretty cool emblem, guys. We do have a lot of sorcery speed things in here, unfortunately, but still, that could go a long way. Might as well finish going over the rest of the 4 mana cards. We got 2 Wicked Slumbers in this one. This is a 4 mana instant speed with Convoke, so our creatures can help cast this, which will come in handy. Tap up to 2 target creatures. Put a stun counter on either of them, then put a stun counter on either of them. So that's pretty cool, man. And we got some stuff in here that's going to work really well with stun counters. Ways to proliferate, which we'll go over in just a second. Also rocking Threadbind Clique. So 4 mana, 3/3 flyer. Okay. But it has that adventure side at instant speed. Destroy target tapped creature. Beautiful. Since we're planning on tapping down the opponent's creatures anyways, that sounds really good. And then, so more often than not, you're going to want to use that adventure side before playing this as a creature. So we kind of think of this just as that 3 mana card, and then little bonus, we get to fly in and try to win that way, right? We have other ways in here to fly in and win that way, like Thrummingbird has flying, for example. 2 mana, 1/1 with flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, proliferate. So that's going to work beautifully with our stun counters. Stun counters on Wicked Slumber. We also have stun counters on Freeze in Place here. This is a 2 mana sorcery speed, unfortunately. Tap target creature and opponent controls. Put 3 stun counters on it. Then you also get to scry 2, which really does go a long way. Scry 2 is pretty huge, actually, man. Yeah, 3 stun counters. And then if you end up proliferating any of those stun counters and just keeping those creatures tapped sounds wild, huh? We also have Lodestone Needle here. This is from the new set, Lost Caverns. This is a 2 mana artifact with flash, so that's cool. When it ETBs, tap up to 1 target artifact or creature and put 2 stun counters on it. So you can also tap down artifacts with this, so nice. Also has craft with an artifact for 2 and a blue. You can craft this into Guidestone Compass. It's an artifact, of course. For 1 mana, you could tap it. Target creature you control explores. Activate only as a sorcery. So I don't know how often we're going to be crafting this. I don't know how often that's actually going to come into play. But honestly, you never know. And exploring could go a long way as well. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And we have other artifacts in here, of course, to craft with this, like Network Disruptor. Got 3 of them. So 1 mana, 1/1 artifact creature. With flying, when it ETBs, you tap target permanent. Nice. Obviously going to pair it beautifully in here. And when the opponent inevitably cuts it down or destroys it another way, then maybe that's the time to pick it up with that craft with artifact ability, which of course you can exile an artifact from your graveyard as well. So where am I, guys? So let's go over the Runic Shots, because I think it's going to be excellent in here. So we got all 4 of them. So it's a 1 mana sorcery speed with a kicker cost of 1 blue mana. So destroy target tapped creature. Again, going to be super easy to tap down the opponent's creatures in this one. If this spell is kicked, you get to scry 2. So if you got the extra mana laying around, you might as well get that scry 2 in, you know what I mean? Yep, it's going to be good, dude. There's probably going to be moments where you do some wild tapping down with Teferi or something, and then untap one of your lands, and then use that untapped land for the Runic Shot on the creature that you just tapped down with Teferi or something. Like, that seems pretty good, actually, doesn't it? In the 3-mana spots, guys, we got all 4 Dreamshackle Geist here. 3 mana, 3/1 with flying. It dies to a lot, unfortunately, but man, this ability is going to be excellent in here. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, you get to choose up to one of these. So tap target creature. Okay. Or target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So if you already have their creatures nice and tapped down from something like Teferi or literally anything else, right? Then you can just keep them permanently tapped down with your Dreamshackle Geist. And of course, if the creatures aren't tapped down, then it has that tap target creature ability too. If you get a couple of these on the board, that can be pretty disgusting as well. I think it's going to be excellent, especially fitting that tempo theme. Got a couple Hylda's Crown of Winters here. This is a 3-mana legendary artifact. For 1, you can tap it, tap target creature. This ability costs 1 less to activate during your turn. Nice. So you can tap this down for free on your turn, tap one of their creatures, and then maybe keep it tapped down with a Dreamshackle Geist. Sounds pretty cool. Also have a Celestus in here. Mana fixing is great. The life gain on this is great. Works really well with cards like Teferi as well. So nice. The mana base, guys. I got a Mirrex over here. We got all 4 Restless Anchorage. Opting for the Pain Land this time round because I think we can get away with the Pain Land. But honestly, I do think the Seachrome Coast would work well. And I think for this build, the budget Tranquil Cove could also work. So feel free to trade out whatever you want in the mana base. As far as dual lands go, I think it'll be fine all around. We do have 25 total land, Soaring City being one of them, as well as a Seat of the Empire, heavily leaning towards blue because that is what the deck is leaning towards. Other honorable mentions, I thought about another win condition with Millennium Calendar here. Since Teferi's in the build, could be an excellent extra win condition, especially if we're having trouble actually swinging through with our creatures. That's the thing, though. I think as far as tempo goes, I think Millennium Calendar belongs in like a full-on control build. In this deck in particular, I am trying to swing in as much as possible, so not this time round. Thought about a Bitter Chill. It's a pretty neat card. More ways to proliferate off of Experimental Augury could be neat, as well as Serum Snare, also a great tempo pick. Mesmerizing Doze is a neat one, also has that proliferate on it. Succumb to Cold, I thought about over the Wicked Slumber. I think Wicked Slumber is going to be a little better, but honestly, either one works. And if you don't have creatures on the board, then I guess Succumb to Cold would do a little bit more than the Wicked Slumber. So yeah, something to think about for sure. And also something to think about, Wandering Emperor is probably an excellent pick for the build. However, the double white might actually get in the way often in this one. I'm not really sure, honestly. So definitely something to consider. Honorable mention for a reason. Let's go ahead, take this into some ranked and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first match here. In the meantime, right into that match. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? Oh, buddy, I think it's going to be super jank, but I wouldn't be playing it if I didn't think it was also going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see. We go first. Wow, nice. All right, keepable hand. Got our build around card already. And we might as well get the wastes down, I suppose. Just based on the other land we have in hand. Undown Pass. Ooh, Teferi as well. Ooh. Okay, Island comes down. Prepare for the Dreamshackle Geist. Yeah, unfortunately this is sorcery speed, so... Oh, wouldn't have mattered anyways. Okay, Dreamshackle Geist. Not doing anything but chilling for the turn. We don't have to choose anything. If they use removal on the Geist, then maybe Hylda gets away with surviving a turn. And I guess we'd want to play... Ooh, Brotherhood's End. Good news, guys. Brotherhood's End doesn't hit Hylda, so if they have multiples of those... Fairy wouldn't be bad for the turn. We wouldn't do too much else. Like, we would just tap their Collector's Vault, untap a land. But the +1 wouldn't be terrible. Or even the -2 for that matter. I think we're just going to set up with Hylda, though, and see what happens. With Brotherhood's End and Collector's Vault, I can imagine this is going to be like Reanimator, right? Boros Reanimator. But we'll see. Technically, we have no idea what the opponent's playing. Okay, big score. Couple treasures open. They passing it to us. Oh, buddy. Okay, Restless Anchorage definitely isn't bad. Wouldn't mind getting that Teferi down. Opponent's providing no creatures for us to tap down, unfortunately. If they did, freeze in place and then activating the Hylda would have been sick. So it's probably Teferi for the turn. Let's start with the swing. See what happens with those two treasures over there. Because they don't have enough for like a seat or anything. Teferi. Yeah, the -2 could do a thing. I wouldn't mind untapping the Hylda and untapping a land. I guess it doesn't really do much, though. Okay, I'll go -2. Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. Let's see what we see. Hylda number 2 might actually go a long way. Tempted by the Lodestone Needle as well. I'm going to grab Hylda number 2 because the opponent's definitely running the type of deck that likes to remove things. And so once they remove that one, at least we'll be able to play the second one. And at that point, too, we might be able to have a really good pair with that Teferi. Now, going -2 on the Teferi could mean that they drop like Brotherhood's End number 2, which does hit Planeswalkers as well. Oop, where is it? So Teferi could die to that, but then Hylda survives. Unless they double down on the Hylda, right? They go Brotherhood's End, and then like a Play with Fire or something. Which we don't know if this is the type of build that's running Play with Fire yet. If we went plus, then it still would have just been 5. So if this is the type of deck that runs like Burn Down the House, okay, Brotherhood's End, and they still have 3 treasures available. Okay, so Hylda survived there. Not bad. So at the very least, we got an extra card off of the Teferi. But if we would have plussed it instead, Teferi would still be around. So that's definitely something to consider. Power up Restless Anchorage if we wanted to. Again, no creatures from the opponent. Let's just go for the swing and the explore for the turn. How do you guys feel about that? And we might be able to get this further above their burn as well. So, Thrummingbird, huh? I have one in hand. We could double down on him next turn, but I don't think so because, yeah, if we double down on anything like this, it could just be more board wipes when it comes time, even though the double proliferate could go a long way. I don't think so, just like based on this hand. Opponent has a ton of mana, man. If they drop one, they could just play a portal. Oh, a Tali. And they still have 2 open mana. Hopefully they don't hit anything too good from us. Union of the Third Path. Oh, our Teferi. Bro. Okay, they're back up to 16. They gained 4. And Teferi's rough business, dude. Okay, that was a really good hit. Well, actually, one of the best hits that they could have grabbed out of the build, huh? Or potentially the best hit. Right? Yeah, there's not a lot better that they could have found, I would say. They go for the -2. Okay. Yeah, they're probably expecting us to tap some stuff down and take out the Teferi, which is the plan, of course. They still have 2 mana open, which could be very unfortunate, but we'll see what ends up happening. Yeah, letting Hylda survive all these turns literally might just be because they didn't have a creature, so they weren't worried about the ability. Runic Shot is decent. So we'll start with freeze in place. Of course, this is probably just going to chill in hand until the time comes. Because 3 stun counters is a lot of stun counters. And for the turn, we're going to be generating... Oh, you know what we could have done? We could have played Thrummingbird and then went for counters off of the Stone Needle. I should probably keep it on top. now that Atali's on the board, I just feel like we might actually, like they might start dropping big creatures, you know? Anyways, off of the Hylda, we could have went counters, but I'm going to be going for the 4/4 now instead. We'll have the Thrummingbird. Let's start with the swing, see if we can take out that Teferi. Because we definitely don't want that on the board.
This is hardly my
Drumming. And if we have a creature to tap down next turn, then we could go counters and then swing and then get that proliferate. Proliferate their stun counters, proliferate our counters. That could be sick, man. Oh, buddy. It looks like the Collector's Vault is being held up right now. It could also be something in hand. They do have 5 cards in hand, so. Opponent? Are you there, buddy? I suppose I should probably pause the recording until the opponent shows up. Okay, the opponent did not show up, unfortunately. Ran through all the timers. Oh, and they're back. Okay, well, their timers are used up. I wonder if they ended up freezing there. Oh, one with the multiverse, just casting it outright, dude. That can be scary. Oh, depopulate. Okay, that's pretty brutal stuff, man. That's brutal stuff. So yeah, they ran through all their timers and then showed up on their turn. So I do wonder if they ended up freezing and then coming back into the game there. I do wonder. So Hylda number 2 isn't bad, but like powering up Restless Anchorage could be fine too. Now that they have the one with the multiverse, no creatures to tap down. Yeah, we're kind of in trouble. I'm just gonna try to set back up with Hylda. Lodestone does have flash, luckily. And it does tap down artifacts too if we wanted to hit like the Collector's Vault. But this is untapped creatures for Hylda, so I'd much rather flash that down, hit a creature. Well, we don't have the open mana for the Hylda's ability anyways, but still. It looks like Hylda might not survive here. Campus Renovation. Grabbing Portal to Phyrexia. Nahiri's Resolve off the top with the Exile, but hold on now. They didn't have anything to return. They just used it for the bottom ability. Nice. Nahiri's Resolve. Dude, this is scary business, man. Nothing for the Lodestone. Yeah, like I said, I don't really want to hit a Collector's Vault. Nothing to really do with that either. So yeah, they're just trying to set up as much as we are. We got a lot of like great control stuff in hand, but we're really struggling to use any of it against this particular build. Let's go with Restless Anchorage, right? We'll go for that swing. Even though we're in some serious danger. Portal comes down, it's going to have us sacrifice the Hylda, unfortunately. So I wonder if we explore onto our Restless Anchorage. This gives their creatures haste too. So like tapping something down, we'll be fine. Let's go for the Explorer onto the Anchorage and see what happens. Network Disruptor, man. Okay, I guess Graveyard, right? Like sure, creatures are fine and all, but remember, a Runic Shot is unfortunately a sorcery speed card. Would be pretty sick if it was instant. Actually, it wouldn't be. That would be really strong, wouldn't it? The Portal comes down for free. Wait a minute. Wait, did they pay for the Portal? Oh, because it was in exile. I see. Right? That's probably during each of your turns you may cast a spell from your hand or top of the library. Yep. Oh, we found another Network Disruptor there too. Huh. Okay. That's probably Anchorage. It's not bad. Lands have been doing a lot for me recently, man. Like, for real. These restless lands have been doing so much. Yeah, might as well. Like, we're in serious trouble one way or the other. Like, look at their setup over there. Okay, we can keep Lodestone Needle open. So whatever they bring back... Oh, the Atali, right? Which is why they didn't really mind the depopulate earlier at all. Let's see what they see with the Atali this time round. Found a Steel Seraph, holy cow, and a Lodestone Needle. Okay. So nothing great from us, but that Steel Seraph is sick. Cool deck from the opponent. We don't get to see Boros Reanimator too often, and I'm considering this Boros regardless of the one with the multiverse, as I'm pretty sure they just have this in here. Like, they're probably not even splashing blue, right? They have the treasures if they need to cast it, but then also they can bring it back from the grave with cards like Campus Renovation and the new Awakening card as well. Should I tap down the Atali before? I guess let's see where they put the Steel Seraph ability. Oh, we're in some serious trouble, but we could survive long enough to have this Restless Anchorage do the thing, you know? If we pass to combat on the stack of the Steel Seraph, can we do the Lodestone Needle, or am I gonna perish? I should probably like full control or something to make sure. Okay, so they're putting it on the Seraph. I would say tapping the Seraph down, making sure that they don't get lifelink is the best bet, right? Taking the 8's fine. Okay, I'll take off that full control. Tapped down, couple stun counters, that's cool. They were gonna go for the lifelink. I think that makes the most sense. They have 2 tapped creatures, guys. Runic Shots. Runic Shots do a thing. Oh, they get to exile with Nahiri's Resolve, though. Oh, yeah, no, we're dead, right? We should probably get into the next game. Yeah. Yeah, they get to exile any number of them. They have a wild setup over there. Restless Anchorage is so good. But without being able to ever hit those with Runic Shot since they have sorcery, like, that's just like... That's probably just it, right? Let's see if they have anything for this Restless Anchorage. Let's see if this does a thing. Map token. Yeah, freeze in place is sorcery speed as well. So Hylda's Crown of Winter is fine to set up, but I mean, oh, we're dead next turn from the swing. Yeah. Yeah, there's not much we could have done there, right? I guess we could have attempted to block with the Restless Anchorage. Nice, get a couple 2-1s with the haste. Yeah, these come back, they both get haste again anyways. So without having something on their turn to tap down. So if we didn't swing with Restless Anchorage, we could have played Hylda's Crown of Winter. Woohoo! We were gonna die. Hey, good game, opponent. Sick deck. Another one with the multiverse as well. We like to see it. It's like a really fun build. Let's go with... Oh. I know it's not even close to summertime, but like, let's go with this Summertime Karn. And we're definitely letting them have this fun swing as well. There's so many moments. I just noticed they grabbed one of our Hyldas. That's funny. There's so many moments where we get a really fun setup like that, but we don't get to swing in. So that's like one of my favorite parts, man. Like hitting that swing with everything button. All right, so far, I mean, the deck was doing fine, I would say. Against that deck, that was a tough time. But like, I feel like we had a hand that would have worked great against any creature build for the most part, right? Like we had like so many cards in hand that could have tapped all the time, but the opponent only had top-end creatures. And by the time those top-end creatures came down, they were setting up like way too much. Oh, opponent goes first. This is probably a bad hand. These slow lands aren't great. We do have 25 lands in here. I have a chance of drawing more. Chance of drawing faster lands. Let's keep it just to see how it goes. I think normally this would be a mulligan, right? I think so. Okay, Evolved Sleeper. Fast land off the top would be ideal. You have, I guess, quite a few in here. Okay. All right. Slow couple turns, and any land off the top now would be pretty good, I would say. Because we definitely want to see more of the 25 here. Swings on in. Hylda, it's not even something we can play, guys. Uh-oh. The Lodestone, freeze in place would be fine. We should do that. We should scry 2 while we can. And put the lands on top. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Runic Shot isn't bad, but, like, we should try to find a land, right? Yes. Well, yeah, no, okay. We should try to find a land. To the bottom. Uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh. Graveyard Trespasser. Yep. Could be scary stuff. Freeze in place. Not a bad draw, dude. Let's discard. If we get Thrummingbird down, it probably just dies right away, right? Like, it'd be cool to start proliferating onto these as well, but like it probably just dies. Still a couple turns on that. You know what? No. I'm gonna discard the Hylda's Crown of Winter because you need a good setup of lands for that anyways. Okay, there's a land. Okay. And Thrummingbird number 2. I'm actually gonna send to the bottom because I wouldn't mind seeing 2 lands in a row here, I would say. So the scry is really coming into play. Archfiend. Oh, buddy. We're not even going to be able to get the Thrummingbird through now. They're probably going to swing with it, though. If we go... If we keep the Threadbind open when they swing, we have a good... We have a good way to destroy it. I guess that's best... I guess that's for the best, but yeah, we're losing these stun counters, so we're not getting that proliferate through. But the truth of the matter is we probably weren't getting that proliferate through anyways, and it switches to nighttime, so this card got a little bit more scary. Woo, buddy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we don't want to take... Excuse me, guys. We don't want to take 12 damage off of that, so it's still worth the hit. No land. Lodestone. Okay, so Sleeper is going to untap. Okay, so we pass it back, unfortunately. The stun counters are coming off of this. This is a rough time with the mana base this game, guys. Definitely wasn't... Guys, I passed through it. Oh, no. I passed through the step where we had to actually tap down there. I mean, we were going to die either way, though, right? I don't think this Lodestone Needle is going to do too much overall. Although they did give us a great target to hit with it, I suppose, and we can just discard one of the Wicked Slumbers here. That's fine, that's fine. We'll do it. That's funny. Yeah, the goal there, of course, was to tap down the Bloodletter before the swing. We'll see what we draw. And mana's very important. Maybe we got to talk about 26, right? Maybe we got to talk about 26, although this does feel particularly unlucky overall. We'll go ahead and get the Thrummingbird down too, and they have a great full swing next turn. Also, it could be go for the throat for the Thrummingbird for the turn. Also, yeah, go for the throat. Good game? Question mark. Good game, opponent. Good game. Not a lot we could have done outside of that mulligan, I would say, right? And of course, hitting the lodestone in time. Again, I don't think that would have affected too much anyways. Like, we would have stopped 4 damage for the turn. We would have died that turn anyways, right? On the, like the exact same, on the same turn. Some like decent draws that game, I suppose. Like the Runic Shot was really good. More mana in general would have just meant that our Hylda would have been the card that they picked up with that go for the throat, but like Teferi really could have gone a long way in that match. The one good thing about not having mana was we didn't have we had a whole bunch of cards in hand to discard to the Trespasser's Ward when it came time. Which is pretty funny. Yeah. We can actually keep this one, I would say. The 2 mana's totally fine with this hand, especially with the double Runic Shots. Hopefully able to slow down the opponent long enough. Dude, Trespasser's actually a nightmare for this build, right? Because for like actually removing Trespasser off of the board, you have to target once to tap it and then target it again with one of the other cards. That being said, once you do tap it the first time with stun counters, you'd like to proliferate off a Thrummingbird, but it doesn't always work out that way, right? Okay, start with the plains. Forest from the opponent. Oh, we got our 3rd mana. That's good news. Yeah, we might as well get the Thrummingbird down. The forest over there. Oh, it's Golgari. Oh dear. GG Thrummingbird. Well played, well played. Poor Thrummingbird. Well, it might survive actually, but no, Shield Edict. I can only imagine it's going to be multiple spot removals in the opponent's hand as well, so Lodestone is open since it has Flash, which is kind of awesome, man. I like Lodestone Needle so far. Mosswood Dread Knight. Playing it out as a creature. We could tap it. Worth it? It's worth it because we don't know if we're going to see the 4th off the top. Oh no, Hylda. Okay, we should scry on the Runic Shot, right? That's not even... I mean, we have the 2nd Runic Shot, though, so that's fine. We should get that scry, too. Put a land on top. Freeze in place is probably fine to keep open. Once we get the 4th mana, we have great plays for a few turns in a row, and getting freeze in place in hand could be really good, actually. So I'm going to keep those. Okay, Mosswood Dread Knight, use that and then play it. It was worth it for the scry, right, guys? I think so. I think so. I hope so. But Teferi could come down. Mosswood Dread Knight doesn't get a chance to kill it. Probably the Hylda, though. Hylda number 1, see if it survives. If it does, freeze in place, then using Hylda's ability. And we would have the Runic Shot available too, all on the same turn. So Tear Asunder, full-powered Tear Asunder. We're taking 3 down to 14. None of this is terrible for us, I would say. Try Hylda number 2 and see if it survives. Nice, thank you, opponent. We'll see if Hylda survives. Tear Asunder, full powered. Oh man. Mosswood Dread Knight number 2, swing it for 3, down to 11. Hylda. Okay, let's give it a shot, man. Hylda number 3, that's all of them. Another nice from the opponent. Oh, Tear Asunder number 3. Okay, well, I mean, that deserves the nice, right? Thanks. That's funny, dude. Okay, let's go with so we're at 5. So we die next turn if we're not careful here. So we could freeze in place, see the scry, and then go Runic Shot. on one of them, then they get to just play it out again. Dread Knight being wild here. If we go up to 7, maybe they just swing face. Or maybe Teferi takes a lot of pressure off of us. Now, let's tap one of these down. Another Teferi. Actually, guys, that could be terrific, right? Seed of the Empire could be really good, too. The problem is Mosswood Dread Knight. They have enough mana to just keep going through. I'll go for the other Teferi. Teferi a couple turns in a row could be good. Not worth taking the 1 damage here, right? So let's go ahead. Let them recast this. They get the draw too, but like it's 3 damage not hitting our face. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Shieldred. Oh, buddy. Get the draw. Back up to 17. We're going down to 3. We have double Teferi in hand because of my decision here. For some reason, I wasn't anticipating Shieldred. We go up to 5 and then we lose the game. Unless we find something with -2. Okay, yeah, I guess we could try it and see what we see. Well, Threadbind Clique is actually pretty good. We don't have the mana for it, but like that's decent, man. Good game opponent. I think that would have been a really tough uphill battle regardless. So if I scried the second Teferi, maybe we would have found something. I guess the Threadbind Clique was pretty close by. We scried both to bottom, and then if I used the scry on the Runic Shot, well, I guess we could have found that Threadbind Clique. But at that moment in the game, they didn't have Shieldred on the board. But with Golgari being Golgari, I should have anticipated it was going to come down eventually, right? I think they might even run 4 of these in most of those builds, right? I think so. Guys, let me know. Have you been going up against much Golgari, or do you yourself play Golgari? Do you run all 4 Shieldred? I'm pretty sure they do, but I'm not 100% certain. All right, guys, we're 37 minutes in. We're going to try to get one more match in. The deck is staying true to my expectations. Super janky, but we have a lot of cool situations and a lot of cool interactions as well, so that's fun at the very least. We also don't get to play a decks like this very often, so Dreamshackle Geist, let's go, dude. Awesome last hand of the evening. Let's do this. Oh, well, I mean, Restless Anchorage is going to come in tapped regardless, so no turn 2 play based on our mana here, which could be bad. Monastery Swiftspear. Oh, thank goodness we went first, dude, or this would have been a game over hand. It still might be a game over hand because we couldn't play anything, but we'll see, we'll see. Yeah, like freezing in place the Swiftspear would have been excellent for the turn, and then going right into Dreamshackle Geist. This Foundry over there. Okay, so do we go 2 mana card? Just go Dreamshackle Geist, let it get burnt. At least it's burn that's not hitting our face, and it would be burn on their turn too. Very Swiftspear, not untapping. If they burn, it's burn, not hitting our face. 3rd mana from the opponent. We do have the second Dreamshackle Geist here too. See if they go for... Because if they swing and go... Okay, it's going to be Play with Fire. Okay. We're kind of in this for a second. Oh, Threadbind Clique. So Commando flips next turn. Get the land down. We could go the other Dreamshackle Geist. This is a similar concept. If we do that, we're expecting burn to hit it instead of us. And we're keeping one of their Swiftspears tapped down for the turn. Or we could just keep the Threadbind Clique available for when they swing and see what happens. We have Lodestone Needle too if we want that. The time of tempo is not now, I would say. We have to pass it over and go for the Threadbind Clique play. How do you guys feel about that? We might even be able to hit a Mishra's Foundry. if they power it up. But I think it would be better to hit a Swift Spear. Okay, 4th mana comes down. They're not keeping the Crucible as utility, so they must have a plan to use all of it. The 3rd Swift Spear hits this board, and they still have enough to power up that Mishra's Foundry. Some burn in hand, I'm expecting. A Lodestone Needle could just tap down. But I think we're just going to go Threadbind Clique. I don't know, we're in a tough situation, dude. Monstrous Rage powers up all the Swift Spears. At that point, do we take out the Etching or do we take out the 3/4 Swift Spear? That's a 5/3. I guess we should prevent the 5 damage, and then we're taking 7. It's either take 9, take out a Swift Spear, or take 7, take out the 5/3 Etching. I suppose it's the Etching, right? I think so. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if it's a Lightning Strike, we're dead, because Lightning Strike face, all 3 Swift Spears get the other 3. 5th mana isn't bad. Okay. So, are we alive, bro? Hold on. Hold on. If we are able to keep Dreamshackle as a blocker, we keep their main Swift Spear tapped down and then use our Lodestone on their turn. Before the swing, I'll put a stop now, just in case, right? We block with the Geist. I think we have a chance of survival here, guys. It's an untap. Swift Spear. Okay, let's see what ends up happening. We could also like freeze in place this turn on one of the Swift Spears. Scry 2 wouldn't be unheard of. Get another blocker down with the coming. No, I'm gonna keep the Lodestone available. I'd like to tap down that Foundry. A permanent with the stun counter that would become untapped, remove 1 from it instead. Oh, Godric. That's also a good hit with the Lodestone. Let's tap that down. So that's a very good hit. Oh, it was being held up by me. We must be in full control because I put the stop on. I'll remove the stop now. They'll have a card in hand. It could be... They go for the swing. If it is a play with fire, they hit face and we're dead. So we got to block one. That's rough business, but yeah, it could easily be a play with fire. This is a great last match, actually. Oh, Monstrous Rage. We're dead anyways, guys. It was great to go up against Mono Red for the last game, actually. It gives us quite the puzzle. Oh, no. we're moving down in the ranks, guys. Okay, anyways through. Early on, just the tapped land was super brutal there. Actually, I do wonder if we'd still be in that game if we actually had something to do on turn 2, right? Tap down that Swift Spear early on. All right, guys, let's go over the deck list one more time. Super janky. Icy Tempo. Here's the deck list. Okay, where to start? Like, there were actually moments in a lot of those games where it actually felt pretty good. So there's some, like, sneaky power in here at like, a little bit. And there's some pretty wild combos that can go on, especially once the Teferi gets to stay on the board, too, with Hylda and stuff. Like, these two on the top end are kind of wild together. The question is, can it stay there? Against that Golgari game, the triple Hylda was really funny, and then they just happen to have the triple Tear Asunder as well, so that was pretty funny. That was silly. Thrummingbird. Poor Thrummingbird. It didn't get its chance to shine today, although I think it could have, and I really like having proliferate on a creature for this deck in particular, as I'm not trying to go all in on the control side, instead opting for the tempo side, which is much more fitting for the type of Magic the Gathering I play. As far as the tempo side goes, I feel like overall we didn't get to showcase it too much. There's like, I mean, even in the aggro decks, right? Even going up against that mono red list, we got to see how hard it is to just keep creatures around. It is very difficult to keep creatures around, unfortunately. There was also a lot of like little combos that we didn't get to see today, like dropping Network Disruptor, tapping a creature, and then immediately using that Runic Shot, because that is a pretty good tempo play, as it's one card for one card, because you obviously get to keep that Network Disruptor as a little flyer on your turn then. And then we never got to really buff our flyers with the +1/+1 on the Hylda. And the one time we actually got to keep Hylda around, it actually had a board state to buff. It immediately got hit with the depopulate from the opponent. So standard happens to be very brutal when trying to play a specific jank like this. There's definitely better versions of jank that you can actually win with as well. That being said, I think we had a chance of winning. like the deck isn't that bad is what I'm getting at. But today's matches, I feel, was showcased some of the worst aspects of this particular style of jank, right? So, a Restless Anchorage, I'd keep all 4 of these, dude. I like it. The Restless lands have been going a very long way for me. So I guess it depends how often it slows you down. But realistically, what slowed us down the most today was the Deserted Beach. So maybe this should just be the fast land instead. I wasn't expecting that. It really did slow us down often. We also got a little unlucky in some of those games too, which I don't usually like blaming luck, but especially that one game where we saw no mana for a while, and then even off the scry, the first scry too, there were no land. That was a pretty brutal game, which I would actually, I would actually say that came down to luck for that game. Had we saw mana, then I think we would have had a good chance. 25 lands, do we want to consider the 26th? Yes, I do think we want to consider the 26th. It felt like the type of deck that you really wanted to play a land every turn. So what would we drop for that? Don't really want to drop any creatures, but I could see dropping that 3rd Network Disruptor down to 2, going up a land, right? Since you're getting rid of a 1-drop and just going up a land so you can actually play your 4-drops on time on turn 4, right? So that makes sense to me. If you don't like the 26th land, I could also see the 2nd Celestus. That little bit of ramp goes a long way, and the way the artifact pairs with Teferi is actually really good. Now, guys, a little bit out of my comfort zone, so definitely let me know in the comments if you have an Icy Tempo style build or an Icy Control style build. And of course, when I say Icy, like this whole concept of stun counters with Hylda and whatnot. Let me know. And what does your deck have that my deck did not? Or what was the MVP for you? For us today, I mean, I guess the Teferi who slows the sunset would have been the MVP, but again, we really didn't get to do too much of anything overall. I do feel like Runic Shot is still pretty good, but the sorcery speed really held this card back. But I guess the sorcery speed's a little necessary, because if this was instant speed, it would be nasty, dude. So okay, we did get to see the Mirrex today. I'd keep that. I would keep that in. So maybe slower land on the Deserted Beach. So yeah, quick recap here, right? Deserted Beach seemed to slow us down a lot more than I would have expected. Maybe that came down to luck as well, but also, you know, mana bases are pretty tough to put together sometimes, and sometimes you got to get a feel for it before knowing which lands to land on. So I would potentially drop the Deserted Beach for faster land. Yeah, maybe. That's tough. I would say that would be up to you guys as well, right? Of course, this is one that it should go onto the no craft list, especially since Hylda is mythic and Teferi's mythic. But honestly, if you got the cards, I would say give it a shot, because I think there's some fun to be had here either way, regardless of wins, right? But yeah, like I would definitely put it on the do not craft list. Like Dreamshackle Geist sees no play anywhere. That's a rare too, so. But maybe you happen to have 4 Dreamshackle Geist just laying around waiting for a list. Maybe this is the list, right? Other cards, mostly budget outside of that, right? I guess we got some uncommons. Freeze in Place is common. Hilda's Crown's rare. Celestus is rare. Threadbind Clique is uncommon. This is actually a really sick uncommon too. I could totally see this just making a cut in actual control builds. Like if you needed like a budget replacement for something, actually really like it. Okay, guys, enough rambling. Definitely let me know what would you add or take out. Let me know in the comments as well. Did we get a little unlucky today, or is this just super duper jank? I'm leaning towards super duper jank, but at the same time, I think there were some moments of unluckiness. So, is that a word? Unluckiness? You know, I don't even know anymore. Oh, also, guys, we got Santa Red over there. Let me know what you think of Santa Red. I keep forgetting to bring it up, as well as we have the Discord link and the Patreon link down in the description. I get so caught up in the games that I forget to say some of the stuff that I mean to say during the video. So, all right, guys. Hey, if you made it this part of the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.